Hey guys, welcome to my review of Suicide Squad, one of the most anticipated movies of the summer of 2016. As you can see, I'm a pretty big DCEU fan. Man of Steel was my favorite movie of 2013 at the end of that year. And I actually love BVS. I know I'm in the minority opinion on that, but I thought it was a really fun ride. I've seen the movie 3 times in theaters. I saw it for the fourth time in the Ultimate Cut, and I love that movie. So I couldn't have been more excited to see Suicide Squad, and I got the fortunate chance to see it at a press screening tonight. So I have my review ready right now. Let's get into it. I was super excited for this movie, obviously, and I'm not gonna lie, this movie really let me down. I was not really a fan of it. When it was over, I was like, I guess I liked it? And then I just kept thinking about it. I'm like, no, I didn't really like that. I have far more negatives than positives, so we're gonna get into those. First of all, let's get into the positives. The casting in this movie is actually pretty good. Will Smith was probably one of my favorite parts of the movie. He plays Deadshot, and whenever he's on screen, it's like, oh yeah, well, like classic Will Smith's back, and it's really nice to see. Margot Robbie plays Harley Quinn, making her big screen debut, and I thought she was effective in the role. She did a nice job. But the best part of this movie is the Joker, played by Jared Leto. It's a really different Joker than what Jack Nicholson and Heath Ledger have done, but I thought it was very effective. He was insane, which the Joker definitely should be, and I feared him when he was on screen, but unfortunately, he's hardly in the movie. He's in it for maybe 15 minutes, maybe 18 minutes if you're gonna really stretch his time. But I don't know. Every minute he was on screen, I was having a blast when he was on screen. As for the rest of the time he's not on screen, it's very, very hit or miss. This movie, for the most part, feels a lot like DC's Poor Man's Guardians of the Galaxy. But unlike Guardians of the Galaxy, which had this fun tone throughout it and an aesthetic to match, this has this dark and dour aesthetic, but they still go for the soundtrack feel of it, having all these pop and rock songs and having all these quippy one-liners. But the aesthetic doesn't match that. So almost none of the jokes hit. They hit in the trailers, but in the movie, I think I laughed twice the entire movie. And the music's just really distracting. And like the situation's really serious, but they're not playing it off as serious really at all. And they even play Spirit in the Sky at one point, and I was like, why would you play that song when Guardians played it just 2 years ago? And all that does is just make it more obvious you're trying to copy off Guardians, but doing it completely wrong. In Guardians, Peter Quill was the protagonist of the story, and we got to follow his journey throughout the galaxy, and he provided an emotional through line. He had an actual arc in the movie. In this movie, there isn't a protagonist, so it's really difficult to actually emotionally sympathize with these characters. And instead of just having us learn about the characters throughout the movie and like, oh, those are their traits and fall in love that way, they just try to set up every single character by just like having flashbacks and saying, this is what this character did before the events of this movie, you better learn about them. And it's really distracting, really disjointed. The pace in this movie is really fast and bad. It's a fast-paced movie that's boring because of how much it's disjointed. And the movie has no room to breathe at all. There's only one scene, and it's maybe a minute and a half until it just gets fast-paced again. I wanted some more character scenes and from point A to point B to have some more action sequences that were all pretty lackluster, to be honest. I felt like if they had made Deadshot the main character of this movie, because he has the most intriguing story arc that's attempted, at least, in the film, it could have really worked. But they didn't do that. They tried to make it a Harley and Deadshot movie, which could have worked, but it didn't, because neither character was developed enough. And almost all the scenes that you're like, oh, that's really cool, is just like 1 minute flashbacks. This movie would have been better off as a Harley Quinn origin story. I would have loved that movie. Instead, we get her origin story in small glimpses, and there's plenty of moments that could make for great sequences, but they're only like a minute flashbacks, and they go on to the story, which is just bland and not very interesting at all. The villain in this movie is terrible. Like, I don't even know his name. He just shows up and just is there for a big CGI battle that makes it seem like Sony made this movie. Like The Amazing Spider-Man 2, it just seemed like so much was jumbled into this movie. It's incomprehensible at points. You're like, oh, he's in this movie? Oh, he's gone? Oh, okay, that was weird. Oh, Batman's in this? Oh, no, he's in it for like 3 minutes? Okay, why was he such a big part of the marketing campaign again? Oh, the Joker's in like every other shot in the trailer? Oh, he's in this movie for 15 minutes? Fantastic. I felt really misled by the marketing of this movie, and almost all the great moments in this movie are in all the trailers. So I think honestly, watch the trailers a few times and just don't watch the movie. The movie's not very good. Also, Scott Eastwood's in this movie, who I'm actually not a huge fan, but I'm a fan of his work. I thought he was really good in The Longest Yard, and I was excited to see him be in the DCEU. He's wasted. I don't know why he signed on to do this role. He's hardly in the movie. Why is he in this movie? They should have saved him for at least another role. At least give him the opportunity to do something else. It's really confusing. There is the mid-credit scene in this movie. That really doesn't make any sense. I don't understand why it's there. I was like, oh, this is cool, and then I thought about it, and I was like, wait. No, that's not how that would happen. That's stupid. Honestly, if you want to see a good Suicide Squad movie, just go watch Batman Assault on Arkham. I thought after I saw that this movie was going to be in really good hands because it could just follow that exact same movie and just expand on some character moments, have it slow down a little bit, and it would have been a really good movie. Instead, we got this disjointed mess of a film that plays more like the bad music video for the majority of the film. It could have been so much better had they just had an orchestral score instead of just a new song every scene. Scene transitions are sometimes really bad. When the movie starts, it goes from a Will Smith part to a Margot Robbie part, and it's jarring. You're like, oh, that was not a smooth transition at all, and then you just get these BVS flashbacks, and you're like, oh, is this going to be just like that? It kind of is like that. It's like they're just so focused on establishing that these are all in the same universe and not establishing on making sure that this movie should be made and is actually good. It's really sad. And there's a great movie in here somewhere, but I don't know where it is. There's moments of greatness, but there's so few and far in between, and it's such a slog to get through. I can't recommend you go see this. I can't say don't go see this because I feel like you should go make up your own opinion. I might be in the minority opinion. I've seen this before the embargo's been lifted, so maybe this is like a 90% Rotten Tomatoes, and I'm just in the minority opinion. But I highly doubt that's going to be the case. I feel like this will probably be a rotten film on Rotten Tomatoes. It's not a good movie. I don't think I have tickets to go see it Thursday night in IMAX. I'm gonna refund those tickets. I don't want to see this movie again. It's not a good movie. I don't want to waste my time. I saw BVS 3 times opening week. I don't want to see this movie again. I almost want to buy the Blu-ray just so I can complete this damn collection. I'll pay $10 for it, and I'm never gonna watch the movie again because it's not a good movie. I'd have to give this movie like a 1.5 out of 5. Like the Jared Leto parts are really good. I liked Will Smith and Margot Robbie. I want to see more of them. Captain Boomerang was good, but he's useless. He shouldn't have been in the movie. He does nothing. It's just it's disappointing, and I'm sorry I have to be the bearer of bad news. It's the first review you're seeing, but I was not a fan of this movie. I didn't enjoy my time. And that's my review for Suicide Squad. I'm sorry I was such a downer, but I can't really get excited about something that I didn't like. Thanks for watching the review, though. Like if you haven't already. Subscribe if you want to see more content. I love all you guys. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.